Jake, come here just a minute. He's been out here talking to you folks all night.
Didn't break no string, but I broke my tie.
You broke your tie. When we first put that on him down in Hollywood today, he thought he was tied anyway. He stood there for quite a while. You might think that this one's crazy, you know, but don't let that fool you. He is. No, he got to telling me a few things coming on over from Nashville. Of course, he's been with us a long time, but a lot of things that I didn't know. He was telling me all about his schooling, and it was so much different to what it was over where I went to school. I thought maybe you folks would like to hear about it. I wonder, Jake, if you would mind just kind of explaining a little of your education to him like you
I'd
did
be
to me.
glad to, Lester, be glad to. What Lester's talking about, now he went to school over in DeRossick, Tennessee, and I went to school in a little place called Eddyville, Tennessee. And comparing the classes down there was just a lot difference, especially the English class. And well, now the same goes for you here in California. I learned that here, especially the punctuation marks, we learn to make them a different way where I went to school. Now down here, you learn to make them while you're writing, and we learn to make them while we talk. Down there where I went to school, I'll give you, for instance, suppose now that I'm a talking and I come to the end of a sentence. There's got to be a period goes in there. And you're writing, you come to the end of a sentence, there's got to be a period in there, you write it down. Well, now, I can't write the period down because I'm a talking. I've not got no pencil. But that there period still got to go in there some way. And you know what period is? Just a little old bitty dot. And here's the way you make the period while you talk. That's period while you talk. Next we have the comma. Now the comma's a little crooked mark. Comes around like that. Looks like a tadpole doing a boogie woogie or something. That's called a comma, and here's the way you make it. That's comma. Next we have the cola. Now the cola's two little dots, one right up over the other. You make it this way. Or upside down. That's the way I make it. Next we have the semicolon. Now that's a dot above and a comma below, and here's the way you make it. In case you're ever standing on your head and want to make that one backwards, it's made this way. That is a semicolon. Next we have the question mark. Now the question mark's a big old crooked mark, comes around, down like that with a dot under it. That's called a question mark, and here's the way you would make it. That's a question mark. Next we have that great big long mark, starts way up there and ends up down there somewhere. Now that's called the exclamation point, and here's the way you make it. That's the way you make them punctuations. What, by the way, I've got a story wrote down here, and I'm going to read the story off and put the punctuations in as I go. Then the next time you hear anything about punctuation while you're talking, you know more about what it's all about. Here's the story. It says, "Dear Jake, when are you going to pay me that?" Ooh, that's the wrong story there. Think that's funny. Look how they spell Jake. J-E-R-K. I ain't gonna read that story. Here's the story. Now listen closely. I'm gonna punctuate as I go. Once upon a time, there was a brave young prince. He lived in a castle high on a hill. One day he was strolling through the forest with his dog, horse, and carriage. All of a sudden there he met a beautiful young maiden. He thought, shall I speak to her first? Then he said, are you lost in the forest? Then she said, yes, I am lost in the forest and need food and drink. Wrong punctuation there. Then he said, climb into my carriage, and there we shall go to my castle, and there you shall have plenty of food and drink. There they fell in love and was married. There they live happy ever after. punctuation while you're talking.